Hey everybody, how's it going? It's KO here again, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about the Frost Mage Jaina. So post-patch, Jaina has gotten a lot of flack as being an assassin that has fallen off and is not being picked as much. You really rarely see a Jaina anymore. And for me personally, I've been having a lot of success with Jaina, playing in both Hero League and in scrims and stuff, so what I wanted to do was talk a little bit about what's working for me on Jaina, give you guys some ideas, and you guys can go into some games, try it out, and let me know what you think. So, with that being said, I know that the major change to Jaina's playstyle is going to be that the ice block was taken away from a 13 tier talent and it was moved to a 20 tier talent. And a lot of people said, okay, well, Jaina's nobody's going to really use Jaina anymore. She was already falling off a little bit as a character who was picked, and then that just kind of sealed the deal for her. But I think that right now, with the current state of the game and the fact that melee bruisers are being picked so much, and usually you at least have two melee bruisers in a comp, I think that Jaina is actually super strong. And I want to talk a little bit about why that is. So, right now on the screen, I have the build up that I've been using. I think this is my absolute favorite build, although there's another variation of a build that I want to actually show you guys after this one. Um, but let's go through this one real quick. So at level 1, we're going to be getting the Winter's Reach, or you can also opt for Conjurers. Most of the time, I just take Winter's Reach. I actually think that 30% helps a lot for chasing down kills, getting people slowed so you can finish them off. Level 4, Snowstorm, pretty standard stuff for level 4. Some people are, liking the Arcane Intellect or even Frost Shards. But for me personally, I think the Snowstorm is really good. That radius really helps, especially versus a lot of melee, because they're kind of stuck in it for 2 ticks. Um, Frostbitten, I think this is pretty crucial, unless you're against a Zeratul, and then I will opt for Frost Armor. But Frostbitten really does up your damage a lot, and that's one thing that has been underestimated about Jaina recently, is people I think have forgotten just how much damage she can actually put out really quickly. So with that being said, level 10 is going to be Ring of Frost. Now with the other build I'm gonna show you, I actually like Elemental, but for this build, for the really go-to strong build, I think Ring of Frost is really good. And they've recently changed it so that Ring of Frost is a lot easier to actually land. They've just changed the way that it actually hits people. It's a lot more forgiving on the radius. Um, Keep in mind, by the way, that that's a 3-second root if ring hits. For a melee character like a Sonya or an Illidan, that is absolutely detrimental. Locking down a Greymane in place, they are pretty much going to just be condemned to die to the rest of your team wailing on them. 13, another crucial talent here, is going to be Icy Veins. And in my opinion, the level 13 talent is the biggest talent decider out there, because the other build, I'll explain what you can do with Stormfront. Now, Ice Barrier was moved from 16 to 13, and what Ice Barrier does is it gives you 25% of your damage that you're dealing to chilled targets. Now, it's very key, has to be chilled targets, and that's, in my opinion, its biggest downfall. But the talent is that 25% of damage dealt to chilled targets is returned to you as shields for 3 seconds. So a lot of people are like, well, that's really where you want to experiment with is Ice Barrier. So what I think though is the big problem is that you really need Icy Veins to make Ice Barrier good. I think without Icy Veins, Jaina's kit alone does not work as being viable with this talent. For one, you have to be doing the damage to chilled targets. So what does that mean? You have to have marked the target with chill first. So that means one of your cooldowns had to be used already just to get them chilled. Okay? So that's your Frostbolt or something, or one of your ticks of Blizzard. So you're not even getting shields from that first tick. It's the follow-up damage, and you're only getting 25% of that damage, which, in my opinion, it's just not quite enough to make it worth it. At level 16, I will get Northern Exposure unless I have a Tyrande. A lot of times, if I have a Tyrande, I'll just go for the root instead, because you're already getting that Mark vulnerability. So just being able to keep the enemy in place to finish off is actually more valuable. And then at level 20, um, Bolt is no longer an option, but the improved Ice Block is the way to go. And so the improved ice block now is a 20-second cooldown, which is really worth noting here. And a lot of people are saying like, yeah, well, she lost Bolt, so she's terrible at 20. But I actually think that with a 20-second ice block for 2.5 seconds, you can do quite a lot. You're basically, when you're playing this style of Jaina, you're a character who has a huge amount of burst, and you also have the survivability of being able to constantly just pop this whenever you feel like you need to. Um, so you really don't feel like you're under that much threat, because once you make it to level 20, you can use that for just a major basic cooldown. And you can just ice block, um, gleaming orbs, or just like a concentrated flask, anything. And like the fact that it's on a 20-second cooldown, you don't really have to worry about what you're doing that much with it. So here, this was a game in Hero League that I was playing where I was running this particular build, and I just wanted to show you an example of how it can put a lot of pressure on a double melee comp. And that's really where I found the most success with this, is with multiple melee having to funnel in together. This is a variation of one of the really popular comps right now, where you have double melee bruiser and then you have Ethereal. So you have a lot of invuln and protection for the bruisers to just run all over your team, uh, which in theory you'd think would kind of counter out a Jaina, but I think if you play it correctly and you shift around a little bit of your playstyle, you can make it work. So in this kind of situation where you have Ethereal, what you want to be doing is dropping some minor cooldowns and you hold Icy Veins. You don't use it right away. You want to hold it until Sanctification has been used and the enemy team has committed to the fight. As soon as the enemy team is committed to the fight and you're in a position to start bursting people, that's when you really want to rip it with Icy Veins Ring and just go all out. Now in this particular situation, it's 13 tier to 13 tier. We have a 1 level stat advantage on them. But you're going to see they're going to all rotate here. They have the Hunt, so Yu's just going to be here right away on Illidan. Tomster's here doing the camp. He doesn't know we're here. Notice Tychus is going to run in really prematurely here and give away what we're doing. But we end up making the best out of the situation. Now in this particular fight, I ringed too early, because I actually, you'll see that Tyrael I wasn't sure that Tyrael was there when I ringed. So he comes in, but he actually doesn't quite get the Sanct off in time to stop all the damage. Now, one of the side effects of ring is that the ring persists for 3 seconds afterwards, and it's going to chill anybody who's walking through it. So just going back to what I was saying about how it's good against melee, it kind of puts the melees in a really awkward situation, because right when you cast ring, the melee have to move to avoid your ring, obviously, if they can, which means they're either going to run to the inside of your ring, where no matter where they go, they're going to get slowed on their way out and become vulnerable to your chill. Or they're going to have to move towards your team and split from the rest of their team. It kind of has that splitting effect that's really good. So that's constantly what I'm looking to do, is to drop it in a way. It doesn't even have to be the perfect follow-up. It doesn't 100% even have to hit. It can really provide a lot of zoning and just like fight control, even if you do whiff the actual damage. So here's a situation where he's finishing this off, and we're going to be coming in, and of course you can hear the Hunt starting to go off. Well, there goes the ring sound effects, even though we haven't gotten to it yet. But the second I hear the Hunt and Illidan is coming in, this is when I'm going to drop ring. And where I'm dropping it, basically Tomster can't leave the fight anymore at this point. Zig's queued in as well. So these guys right here on all three of these melee are going to be affected by my ring somehow, even if I'm not hitting them directly. So there's a weird interaction here where he does drop Sanct, but it doesn't quite go off in time to stop the ring damage. So the ring damage does hit them. Now the Sanct comes out and it's stacked with Divine Shield. So they're just spamming all their invulnerability ults. And at this point, I still haven't used Icy Veins. So as soon as I see this invulnerability drop, I'm going to be dropping Blizzards left and right, Cone of Colds, Frostbolt spamming. And that's exactly the power of Jaina. So as soon as this is over, that's when I activate Icy Veins, and I'm just dropping, machine gun frostbolts left and right, pew-pewing it up, and we clean up the team fight handedly. So yeah, that was a really good example in my opinion of how a team fight should go. And I've had countless examples that feel just really good, and it's not like that was a niche situation or anything like that. So yeah, I've had a lot of success with that build. I think it does an insane amount of damage in team fights, and it just offers a ton of control for melees. Now, real quick, I was talking about how I wanted to go over the other build, and let's do that real quick. So, because I think this is actually a pretty cool little build. And the other one I've been experimenting with is a range-based build, because she lost the ice block at 13. So I was thinking, okay, how can I still play Jaina in a way that I can be reliably and viably safe in a team fight and still put out a lot of damage. So with this one, you're definitely going to want to go the range for the Frostbolt. That's actually crucial with this one because you're going to be using a lot more range in general throughout the fight. Snowstorm is the way to go for sure because we're going to be using Blizzard a lot. Frostbitten as well. You have the range on your Q and your W with this build, so you have a lot of chance to get Frostbitten procs. At level 10, I think you should go Water Elemental. And the reason is because you're going to have a lot more range from the actual action of the fight. So your ring, you're not going to be in range usually to hit the ring the way you want to. At level 13, you're going to go Stormfront, which is the range on Blizzard. And this is, again, all about, keeping your distance and being able to do a lot of damage without being right next to people. And then at 16, Snow Crash. And at level 20, I still will go either the improved ice block or you can actually opt for the winter mute there. Because you're so safe and so far away from the fight, you can actually get a lot of value out of winter mute if used correctly. So either one of those is a good idea here. So how does this build work? Well, in general, what you're going to be looking to do is tag people with your longer range Frostbolt and then harassing or zoning with blizzards. And a lot of people don't like this too, increasing the waves of blizzard. But there's a lot of situations like sieging situations and stuff where you can drop this like right behind a wall, and because it's 3 waves, it creates this really good zoning tool where people can't just stand in that. They have to they have to stand in like an awkward position and they have to reposition. They can't just stand right behind the gate. So I really like that. This is also good in comps where you need to be a very reliable follow-up. It's kind of the same concept like Tyrande has with Lunar Blaze, where the range on that stun is super good for following up. It's similar situation here. If you have this 13 talent and this level 1 talent, every time your Muradin jumps in and stuns somebody, even if he's jumped way ahead of you to get the stun, you've instantly got the follow-up with the Frostbolt W. Water Elemental at the beginning of a fight, you can summon that from way in the back and kind of have it flank in and start harassing the enemy DPS. And also it tags people for your chill. That's what we're going back to, is having the range ability to tag people with chill and having the big follow-up. So yeah, guys, try that out. Let me know what you think about the 2 builds. I think I've really loved both of them. I really enjoy playing both of them. Jaina is a lot of fun, so I'm super happy to be able to go back to that character and spend some more time playing her. And personally, I think she does have a place in the meta for sure. And let me know what you guys think. Have fun with the builds. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.